Tinkaton has risen up to OU status, folks, after more than 2 years of hard work and determination. This is an incredible moment in human history, as Tinkaton and Weavile are the only Pokemon to rise from UU to OU in the April tier changes. Tinkaton is officially ranked higher than Blissey, Meowscarada, and Rillaboom, who all three dropped in the tier changes for April. Why has this happened though? Why are players recently favoring Tinkaton and using it much more, when it was ranked UU and pretty unpopular for most of Gen 9's existence? Why is this happening? Let's explore the possibilities. But first, oh my goodness, what is this? What is this, folks? It's the Iron Mugulis plush, finally available for sale on Makeship. Check it out. It's quite large. Look at the quality, the protruding arms, the glare into your soul. This is something you're going to want, and you're going to want it quickly. Look at this product and weep, folks. Thank you. Tinkaton has always been one of my favorite Gen 9 Pokemon designs because I think it feels very well balanced. I've always liked the fact that it's really strong in some areas, but it has some limitations elsewhere. The best thing about Tinkaton is definitely its type combination. Fairy Steel is maybe the best type combination you can get in this game. There's of course Zacian Crown and Mega Mawile and other very powerful Fairy Steel types throughout the history of the series, and Tinkaton is now a member of that elite group, and yes, it is an elite group. But Tinkaton's stats are nothing particularly special. They're very average, in fact. Its highest stat is a special defense of 105, and that is nothing particularly incredible. All of its stats are very middling. And when it comes to Tinkaton's move pool, there are some great options here, some of the best utility moves in the whole game. Stealth Rock, Thunder Wave, Knockoff, even Encore, which is a very popular option in Gen 9, very good against a lot of top threats. And Tinkaton has a really fun signature move, the move Gigaton Hammer. Gigaton Hammer is a massive 160 base power steel type attack. But it has a drawback. This Pokemon cannot be selected the turn after it's used, so basically you can't use this twice in a row. So you can hit really hard once, but then on the following turn, you can't just click it again, so it's not spammable. Would be a broken move on almost any other Pokemon that's half decent on the physical side, but Tinkaton having such a low attack stat really balances this out, and so does the inherent restriction on this move, that it can't be spammed. It can only be used every other turn. So I really like this. It's a powerful effect that doesn't deal too much damage, since Tinkaton's attack isn't that high, and it has that built-in restriction. Tinkaton also has a pretty excellent ability in the form of Mold Breaker. Mold Breaker will allow your Pokemon's moves to ignore the abilities of enemy Pokemon. For example, if an enemy has Magic Bounce and you use Stealth Rock, you will completely ignore Magic Bounce and you'll be able to freely set Stealth Rock on the field without Magic Bounce bouncing it back to you. That's one of the most popular applications of this ability on Tinkaton, but you can also ignore effects like Goldengo's Good as Gold, Garganicle's Purifying Salt, even Dragonite's Multi-Scale. Ignoring abilities is a fantastic effect. There are so many abilities that Pokemon rely on to even exist. Not even Muck is safe against you, because if you click Knockoff against it, you will ignore Sticky Hole and be able to remove their item. That's a very controversial part of Tinkaton, that it kind of invalidates Muck. A lot of people aren't fond of that. Now, for most of Gen 9's lifespan, Mold Breaker was the preferred ability on this, but then people realized that Tinkaton's hidden ability, Pickpocket, is also quite useful. Pickpocket is an ability that allows you to steal the attacker's item if it makes physical contact with you and you're not holding an item, which is a very specific sounding effect. But interestingly, if paired with the item Air Balloon, you get to defeat 2 birds with 1 stone here, because Air Balloon grants you ground immunity, very useful on a ground weak Pokemon, and it pops whenever you get hit. And conveniently, when you get hit, you have no item, and they're making contact with you at the same time, presumably. So Pickpocket will activate, and as soon as you lose the air balloon, you steal their item while they're touching you. So for example, you come in on a Landorus Therian, they click Earthquake and you're immune, then they U-turn, popping the balloon, and now you've stolen their item, perhaps a leftovers or a boots or something important. Believe it or not, this set might be what pushed Tinkaton over the edge, because it's really awkward to deal with, because the balloon is granting you ground immunity, and if you ever touch Tinkaton, you lose your item. In some situations, you don't want to pop the balloon, and then Tinkaton is freely maintaining its ground immunity for years to come. This set actually is one of the few things in the game that really helps out against Kyurem. Of course, it's risky to switch straight into Kyurem because your balloon might get popped by Icicle Spear or Ice Beam, which doesn't make contact. But if you can maintain your balloon, maybe switch on an Earth Power or switch it in after losing a Pokemon, the Kyurem is in an awkward position where they have to pop the balloon with a resisted attack and they just get destroyed by an incoming Gigaton Hammer, which will KO very easily. This set also is a pretty nice hazard setting lead. You can get rocks up early and disrupt enemy hazard setting leads with Thunder Wave and Encore, which are very punishing to many of them, like Rabombi. Tinkaton's defensive typing is generally excellent, but especially against threats in the metagame like Iron Valiant. And you can also be a temporary check to a bunch of things because of this balloon interaction, like Dragonite that relies on Earthquake for coverage to hit steals. Tinkaton also punishes King Gambit significantly. You have a dark resistance, so that allows you entry points. You are neutral to Steel and can take a lot from Steel, but since you have Encore and you're much faster than King Gambit, if they ever select Swords Dance or Sucker Punch, you can stop their sweep completely in its tracks by just forcing them to repeat a useless move. From there, you can Thunder Wave or spread damage around with Gigaton Hammer or set Stealth Rock. The Tinkaton has so many opportunities to hit the field, check a bunch of different things at once, disrupt things by getting rid of their items. It can even run Knockoff if it wants. You often don't need it because Pickpocket has item removal built in anyway, but that can only work once a lot of the time, so Knockoff can also be a great option. See, this set is actually incredibly good and consistent in the Gen 9 metagame. You do sometimes see Mold Breaker 2 for its own useful benefits of attacking through and ignoring certain abilities, but Pickpocket actually feels like the more popular way to go recently, and just the passive ability to remove and steal items even. Steal an item after your air balloon gets popped. That gives Tinkaton such momentum, and it really makes it feel universally useful. Like, this Pokemon is always going to get some sort of value, or disrupt something important, set Stealth Rocks, paralyze something, save your life with Encore. Tinkaton actually improves team's consistency. It's very, very solid. And I think it's cool that such a, in my opinion, balanced Pokemon has risen up to OU just on its own interesting merits. Nothing about this feels overtuned or broken or anything. It's just a damn solid Pokemon, isn't it? In SPL, which is a high-level team tournament, Tinkaton was 25th in usage in Gen 9 OU among high-level players, even outranking Pokemon like Cinderace and Iron Treads on the usage. Tinkaton actually had higher usage than Iron Moth, Walking Wake, and even Primarina as well, even Glimmora. The Tinkaton is actually not only being used more, but it's having a high win rate. It is popular right now, consistent, and it's actually outperforming a bunch of Pokemon that seem way better at a glance, like Walking Wake and Iron Moth. You look at these Pokemon and they look like dominant OU threats, but little Tinkaton is outperforming them in the marketplace of ideas. Weavile also returned to OU status. I actually didn't even realize the guy dropped, to be honest. You see it all the time in OU, it's common. Tier changes took a while this time, so it feels like an outdated ranking to call that UU. It's about damn time. Weavile's good, it's fast, it's got knockoff, triple axle. We know about Weavile, we respect Weavile. We're not surprised to see success from Weavile. In a shocking turn of events though, Blissey, the greatest special wall in Pokemon history, has fallen to UU. It's not the first time this has happened. Blissey has not always been ranked OU in Gen 9, but tragically, right now, if you search normal type in the team building filter, there are 0 normal types in OU now. Blissey was the last one. It was the last hope for a type that has felt like it's been lagging behind for years. But now, we have 0 normal types ranked in OU. We even have bug and ice types in OU. Is normal the worst type in the game? This is now an argument you can make. You can now say normal could be the worst. Blissey dropping makes sense. It's not actually that crazy of a sight because Blissey is fundamentally very powerful. It's very good at its job, but it was nerfed in Gen 9. Without Toxic, it can't really apply pressure to things in the same way. It's just a wall. And a Pokemon like this is only really going to function on stall teams. And that has been enough to keep Blissey OU for a bit, just clinging on to the lower end of the usage to just barely make the cut into OU. But seeing this drop makes sense. I mean, stall teams are not popular. They're not that good. It's a very aggressive metagame Gen 9. I've also even seen some stall teams forego Blissey for other options. So the highest ranked normal type is now Ursa Luna in UUBL. And honestly, the most viable OU normal type might be Mousehold now. Is Mousehold a better choice than Ursaluna? I feel like I actually see Mousehold more because of Tidy Up and Population Bomb. Can I say Mousehold is the new normal type representative of Gen 9? I'm going to declare that right here. Mousehold is the best Pokemon of its type. This is truthful now. Blissey dropping down, I'm not surprised to see, but these other two drops from OU to UU, I am surprised to see. I thought these were good Pokemon. I'm a bit shocked. I think something's wrong here. First, we've got Meowscarada. Meowscarada is, by all accounts, extremely solid. The new Protean Pokemon, the Grass-type starter of Gen 9. Protean will change your type when you select a move, once per switch in. It's been nerfed in Gen 9. It doesn't continuously change your type every time. So it works once, but still a good ability. And still very well utilized on Meowscarada, who can gain Stab on U-turn as it's pivoting. Stab on Triple Axle, which is fantastic coverage. You have Knockoff and Flower Trick. Flower Trick is an excellent signature move that has a 100% crit chance. It always crits, and it's perfectly accurate. A great way to bypass defenses and just deal big damage with Grass Stab. So what's the deal? Honestly, I'm not too sure. I feel like Meowscarada is a really great Pokemon. I think it's a great fast pivot. It's got good stats, high speed. It even has U-turn. It's interesting to see Weavile, who is a similar Pokemon, a fast offensive threat that likes to click knockoff. Weavile is now OU and Meowscarada isn't. And Meowscarada does have some competition from Cinderace, who is a similar Pokemon, a fast offensive threat with Libero, which operates exactly the same as Protean. And Cinderace has options like Will-O-Wisp and Court Change, making it a bit more useful, generally, in terms of its utility, but Meowscarada sets itself apart well enough with its Ice coverage and Flower Trick. And the other Pokemon to drop to UU is Rillaboom, another shocking one to see. Is this really the case? Rillaboom is a UU Pokemon? I feel like this is a great Pokemon. Rillaboom is a mono grass type, the grass type starter of Gen 8, and has the ability Grassy Surge, which summons grassy terrain on the field. This is probably the best and most consistent terrain setter, activating Grassy Seed for Pokemon that like to consume items, like an Unburdened Holucha or other such boost sweepers. We've even seen Grassy Seed Comfey, other Carmine Stored Power boost sweepers with Grassy Seed to get some defense. It's a good hyper offense concept, and it helps you out defensively with the Chip Heal effect. It boosts grass type damage, and it nerfs the power of Earthquake. Grassy terrain's really good, and Rillaboom itself is a solid, bulky attacker in its own right, with a great move pool including U-turn knockoff, Grassy Glide, which is a priority move that works only in grassy terrain. Great for insurance against popular sweepers. It comes up all the time. Can bail you out a lost game. You can win off Grassy Glide, saving your life. And Stab Woodhammer doesn't hurt either. I'm a bit baffled by this one. I think this could be circumstantial. People just aren't using Rillaboom for whatever reason. I wonder if Meowscarada and Rillaboom are suffering from the rise of Pecharunt, who is a positive matchup into them. Maybe, kind of. I mean, Pecharunt is not ecstatic about coming in against Knockoff, but it can stomach it well enough with its high defense, and then it is now given free opportunity to Malignant Chain or Parting Shot from there, so that could be something to do with the declining popularity of Meowscarada and Rillaboom. These guys also do get punished by contact effects. They can at least knock off Rocky Helmets, but Static and Flame Body kind of eat these guys alive. They can't hit Moltres or Zapdos that well. Meowscarada can Triple Axle, but clicking U-turn or the Grass move or knockoff is a bit risky into that, and Moltres in particular is great against both of these Pokemon. I also have to say that my predictions about what would rise and what wouldn't were way off. I didn't predict these two falling. I didn't predict Tinkaton and Weavile necessarily rising back up. I thought Okidogi would have his day. I thought every dog had its day. And Okidogi seemed popular back then. Maybe if the tier change happened earlier, it would have risen up. There was a time when Okidogi was very popular, but that didn't last up until April. And Okidogi remains UUBL, even though it's a great bulk up sweeper that matches up well into popular defensive would-be checks. Not popular enough to be OU status. Okay. Garchomp was having a bit of a rise too, a bit of a resurgence as a really solid bulky spiker, coming back to the forefront a little bit. It had a high usage in one of the months, but not enough to maintain that all the way up until April. I also thought Low Kicks had a real shot to rise to OU. Genuinely. Because Low Kicks was popular in SBL, It's feeling really solid on bulky balance teams as a breaker and a pivot. It has such great stab types for its moveset and ability. The Tinted Lens, U-Turn, First Impression, Knockoff, and Sucker Punch are just insane. And I still think Low Kicks is really good in OU, but apparently not as good as Tinkaton or Weavile. I was way off, folks. Look at me. I also want to give a massive shout out to Iron Jugulis, a fan favorite Pokemon with a beautiful underdog story here, rising from RUBL all the way up to UU, now in the same tier as Rillaboom. They're considered equals. They are considered brothers. I think that is a win for greater society, I do. Tier changes are happening much less often than they used to. It's every 3 months now, so there's a lot of time in between them for metagame shifts to occur. And maybe in the middle month something's popular, but not enough to maintain OU status at the end of the 3-month period, you know? Unfortunate for Pokemon like Okidogi, but that's the way the wind blows. Who do you think is going to rise up in the next one? Do we think Iron Jugulis will make it all the way? What about Bruxish? Do you think Bruxish has a path? It's risen from ZUBL to PU. That's a step. That's one stepping stone. Do you think it can go all the way to the peak of the mountain? Let me know down below in the comments. And thank you for watching. And don't forget to check out Iron Mugulis, now available on the Makeship website. Thank you.